Joe, you perform a number of roles in the club. Could you explain what these are?
Hi Robert, thanks very much for having a chat with me. I have a kind of a three-pronged role really in the club. I act as an assistant programme coordinator to Stephen Gray, who runs our education programme. He's our head of education. That entails our transition year boys, who we have a school on site with Ashfield College, and they're Monday to Friday. They train on site, so I would play a role in terms of assisting on the coordination side of things, but also an assistant on the pitch with Stephen. We have a fifth year programme now, which is carried on from last year's fourth years. Again, these guys they train 2 days a week and on top of their studies. So again, I'll be quite heavily involved in terms of training them. And then I will work also as an academy coach, predominantly with the 2010 group, but on an ad hoc basis with any other age group, predominantly with the younger ones in the foundation phase. And finally, I suppose the last bit of my role is I work in the community for the club, predominantly in the Kildare area. Some of the clubs that I would work with would be the likes of Salon Celtic, Clane United, Kilcullen, and a number of other clubs that are in around that area.
So you mentioned about the community work that you do, and that's working in conjunction with Tony O'Neill and Owen O'Mara, I think, is it?
Absolutely, yeah. So the guys, Tony had a strong community programme with a number of community or affiliate and partner clubs. So my role is just to oversee kind of, I'm an ACE man originally, so I oversee the Kildare area. So what I would do, again, come in maybe every 6 to 8 weeks, put on a session for the coaches. It might vary in terms of content. It could be aimed towards younger age groups, older age groups, depending on what the club might need. We would also try to encourage them to go to games, so we would source them links to tickets and stuff like that. And then we do get some ad hoc requests for teams to come and visit Tallaght Stadium, which we try and help arrange through the proper channels. And then any other kind of promotional work we can do leading up to our summer camps in the summer, which again I help Tony and Owen run over the July and August period. And
are there any clubs specifically in the area that you work with?
So most recently, I suppose a large weight of my work has been with the likes of Clane United, the likes of Kilcullen, the likes of Salons. All three clubs will be continuing on with a summer camp this year. We've been to the club on numerous occasions now in the last couple of months, putting on various practices from the age of 8 to 12, 13, 16s even. So basically there would be the three main clubs that we would focus our attention on.
They're the ones that you're working with?
Absolutely, yeah. Myself personally, yeah.
Yeah. And do you get any good feedback from them?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got some great feedback. I think the clubs wish they could have us around a little bit more. Listen, it's been really good to get to know these people and try and spark an interest in Shamrock Rovers, try build a connection with them. The number of teams we've seen come to games has been really, really pleasing. So it's been great to be a part of that and kind of just give have a face in the community that maybe represents the club. It's a great source of pride for myself, and I'm glad to be of some help to them clubs who provide a great function to the community by providing football to a lot of kids.
Yeah, and then of course Tony and Owen are working with other clubs as well, aren't they?
Absolutely. Tony and Owen would, Tony predominantly would work with our Dublin clubs. Owen would be similar. He could go from Rathcoole to Kilcock. There's quite a number of them involved on the programme, and it's quite a large operation, I guess, so it's important for us to kind of communicate regularly and make sure that we're hitting the clubs that want us to engage with them. So it's very much a two-way street. If the club wants us there, sometimes the club might want us there as often, and that's fine. If a club wants us to be a bit more there intensively, we try and serve that as best as we can.
Are there any plans to develop this further?
I'm not sure. Tony is obviously the lead on the programme. In terms of my end, I suppose for me it's probably about quality, not quantity. So the clubs that I am working with, making sure that we do a good job for them, and if the opportunity arises or there's an interest from another club, we're always willing to speak to them and see if there's something we could do or somehow we could help. So we're always open to growing it, but nothing in specific in mind just yet.
And you mentioned there about your role as a transition year program assistant,
Yeah.
and you mentioned a little bit about what you do. What would your day, your typical day be, say, for that?
Yeah, so our typical day could consist of the students would have a daily brief at 9 a.m. So I would help maybe Stephen prepare for that brief. We would sit down and plan our training for the day, take attendance, make sure that the players are okay if they've played games on Saturday and Sunday. We might have to separate the players. Some may train with the first team, some may be in recovery, some may be on the pitch able to partake in full sessions. So we would have to organise that in the morning and then train them accordingly. Stephen has been very good with me. He's been a really good mentor. So he's been working a lot in small groups on technical sessions, and recently has let me lead on a lot of sessions. So that's been really good for my development. And in terms of the kids, they could have split days, so they could maybe train on the pitch in the morning, but then also have a gym session in the afternoon with our SSC guys, such as Paddy, who does a great job with them. So for them, it's quite busy. They have, between 7 and 9 extra training sessions on a weekly basis, and we would try our best to facilitate them. Furthermore, we would also run some modules for them. So, for example, a leadership module. Stephen would run. Again, if he needs any assistance, I try and assist on that. The Rovers mindset, Tony O'Neill, that would be like our sports psychology module. Again, any sort of assistance towards that module. And I suppose from next year on, I'll be running the performance development module for the club, which is also just around nutrition, hydration, the basic principles of training and stuff like that.
Okay, and just to ask you about your role as an academy coach, I've seen you working with a number of teams here,
Yeah.
and you did mention the 2010 group, but is it, that's the under-13s, of course,
Yeah.
have won the All-Ireland there just recently.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So is it mostly them that you work with?
Yeah, I suppose when I first came into the club, the role I was given was a coach with the 2010 team, and obviously that grew as my interest in the club grew. I was and I spent a bit more time here. I got to work with a few different teams. 2010s would train 3 evenings a week, so I would a lot of the time would take 3 of them sessions alongside the manager and the other coaches. On top of that, then I would work closely with our academy director in terms of overseeing the under-8s and 9s, making sure we've good staff to come in. They kind of understand the ethos of the club or what we're trying to do. We would be strong on individual player development, and that's something that we try and instill quite early on if a new group comes in, just to help make sure they get on their feet and they understand kind of what the club is, what the style is of the club in terms of what we try and do in training or how we like them to play and stuff like that. So that's an area that's been interesting, and that's grown, I suppose, a little bit lately. And then obviously on an ad hoc basis, wherever Shane or Aidan might need me, I'll just come in and help out and assist with any of the age groups, but they'd be predominantly in the foundation phase.
And I've often seen you here on days when everybody has gone off around the country on to various venues or whatever,
Yeah.
and you would be here early and you'd be here till late at night. So how many hours a week would you say you put into it?
There'll be long hours. Like I think, as everyone knows, football is a labour of love. It's a great privilege to be able to obviously work for Shamrock Rovers, the biggest club in the country. So there are some long days here where we have to open up and lock up and stuff like that, but it's all very much worthwhile when you get on the grass and get to see the players play and express themselves like they've done here tonight, obviously, and like you've seen on Sunday. I would argue there's probably no better place in the country to be in and enjoy your work and your football,